we have to talk about this. This is the stupidest discourse on the internet right now. Every single bit of this is dumb. We're going to go over fan art first. Obviously, I want to showcase the things you guys have done. Y'all are amazing. But then we got to talk about, like I said, just absolutely stupid shit. First of all, we have a piece of fan art from Axo, and this is a submission for the fan art costume contest, where the winner of the contest will have their fan art used as the basis for a model. And Axo says, realized my chances of getting this done was near zero, so I drew the front window part to my old witch virgin killer sweater. It's very Magic the Gathering themed. So we have a Magic the Gathering themed virgin killer sweater for my model. It is a modification of two previously existing model designs, but you know, I don't hate it. I actually don't hate it. I think there's definitely something there. So, thank you very much, Axo. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future video, please drop it into the fan art section of the Discord. With that said, all right, so if you don't know who SmashJT is one of now 1 billion different right-wing YouTubers who makes their entire bread and butter complaining about the woke. Like, that's literally what they do. Instead of talking about how good or bad a video game is, they can't see video games as anything other than, like, a footnote in the culture war. And it's kind of sickening, honestly. I can't stand it because I grew up, right? I grew up where the biggest controversies we had to deal with in gaming were violence in video games with Jack Thompson and console wars in general, whether you were a Sega baby or a Nintendo baby, or later on, whether you were a fan of the Wii or the PS3 or the Xbox 360, and then the console wars just kind of sort of died out over time. It's not really a big deal anymore, but it is something that used to define gaming spaces way more. People were a lot more tribalistic about the things that they loved. And there was some fun debate there. It is, like, outside of election classes, it is one of the areas where I actually learned to have a bit of a rhetorical tongue when it came to debate. I started learning how to properly defend something. Now, did I properly defend the Wii? Absolutely fucking not. I made a cringy YouTube video where I held up all of my cases of Wii games and said, these are all playable, herder, not even realizing that, like, there's 27 good playable games on the Wii after 5 years is not the defense I thought it was. So, Naira says, what about Gamergate? Right. So, I'm getting to Gamergate. This is all, like, pre-2012. Then the Zoe Quinn situation happens with Gamergate, and Gamergate kicks off. It begins with a conversation about ethics in game journalism, and then evolves into attempts to bring video games and right-wing, alt-right shitbro culture together in one, like, terribly fuck-ass pile. And it turns out that there were enough bad actors in older, like, some of the older legacy video game companies, like Grums, the guy who used to steal all of the breast milk from the employee fridge for Blizzard. Like, a lot of people like that started coming out and actually saying that, no, the video games have changed for the worse because of one reason or another. So you get a lot of this, like, older legacy creators in the actual gaming space, not YouTubers, like actual people who make video games who were used to the, like, toxic frat bro culture that games used to invite because they were sold and marketed towards boys at first, and they don't like the way the gaming landscape has shifted to be more, you know, friendly for everybody. And they want that toxic world back. But then on the other side, you have the content creators who, on the one hand, say, oh my god, I grew up in the COD lobbies, you can't hurt me. And then they show that they're fucking snowflakes about purple lighting in the sky. And I'm not even kidding. Like, that's actually what we're talking about. So this is SmashJT talking about Halo Campaign Evolved. Real quick, I want to give you guys my gaming bona fides where Halo is concerned. I don't have that many. But I grew up playing Halo 2 with friends. I grew up playing Halo 1, the custom edition on PC, where we got to play on dumb maps like Huge Ass, or play the Resident Evil mod, or the Ocarina of Time mod for Halo 1 in multiplayer, and it was a lot of fun. None of it worked well, but it was really, really fun. And I'm going to be able to make anybody here who played PC games years ago feel old by saying the words Game Spy. And now that your back hurts and you need ibuprofen, let's go ahead and continue here. So I skipped out on most of the Halo franchise afterwards. And I didn't start rediscovering my love for Halo until the last couple years. My girlfriend was a huge Halo fan, far more than I ever was as a kid. And it turns out that we really, really wanted to go through and, for her, relive a lot of those old experiences. And for me, learn what Halo was from Halo 3 onward, all the stuff that I didn't really experience all that much. So we did a playthrough of every game in the Halo franchise, except 5, it doesn't exist. And as we did, I gained a new absolute fucking love for this franchise and its history and its story, and I started delving into the novels and the back lore, and just... I have so many videos about the cosmic origins of the Flood and the fascist origins of the UNSC that I've watched now. I feel like all the information has become ridiculously redundant. But basically, I became for a time, a hyper fan of this. And so when I found out that Halo 1 was getting a remake, I was super fucking excited, because for me, a remake of a game is a chance to take things that were not functional really well before and update them. But Halo still holds up today. The old one still holds up perfectly fine. So instead, this is changing the cinematic atmosphere of that game and giving us that. Like, Blur Studios was not a thing when Halo 1 came out, making the absolutely just fucking amazing cinematics we see in the series, from like the Halo 2 remake or the Halo 2 remaster into the second Halo Wars game. Like, all of that shit was not established back then. So seeing the game reimagined that way, I'm excited for it, even if it's using all the assets from Halo Infinite, which I think is stupid. Marco says stairs and library. Look, library is a gauntlet, but it is not a gauntlet that is unsurvivable. And the library level also happens to give you a lot of checkpoints. Neve says, laughs and needler ammo counter. Yeah, the weapon that doesn't need an ammo counter at all because it physically shows you the ammo on it, that was a weird design choice. Anyway, let's go ahead and see what's going on here.
Xbox held their game showcase event discussing the Halo campaign Evolved and that Cortana. And something interesting that came out of this display, not just the trailer itself, but the actual cover art, which I noticed something curious on. And I posted this tweet saying, this is unnecessary and intentionally signaling trans. They know what they're doing. Once you notice bisexual lighting being used, you cannot unsee it. This is intentional. I will not be gaslit.
All right. So if that sounds like somebody's dementia-addled brain, it is. I'm going to go ahead and go out on a theory. And the theory is that SmashJT is suffering from AI psychosis. That's my theory. And here's my reasoning for that. We know that he's interfaced with AI a lot. We know that he's tried, I believe he's the one that like kept on trying to make his AI more racist at one point. We know that he's messed with this tech a bunch. And something that I have noticed with people who mess with the tech a lot is they start to get really, really, really overconfident in their opinions, because the AI is sycophantic and it sucks their dick and it tells them that their opinion is the bestest thing in the entire world. They're just the specialist little snowflake. Or it'll say, you're on the right track, but it won't actually actively say, no, you're wrong, you dumb motherfucker. That is not how it works. It is a technology that desperately wants to bring you in and keep you in as long as humanly possible. There's a wild sycophancy bot 9,000 leads to weird worldviews could have fooled me. So There's a type of person who already struggles to interface with reality well. I believe that a lot of right-wing truds are already this kind of person. And if that person already struggles to interface with reality in a way that you and I would consider consistent, the more they mess with AI, the more it is just stupidly easy for them to fall into whatever traps the AI is laying for them. Especially if they're a YouTuber, they're probably a little narcissistic. Trust me, all of us are. I promise you, none of us are clean. It feeds into that. It really, really will. And I say this as somebody who has messed with AI a lot now. I've already let everybody know my issues when it came to addiction to it. I've already let everybody know my history with messing with the technology, the ways that I have used it for various projects, and I've actually done a lot of work specifically on Janitor AI, and I've noticed that even in there, because it's not fucking programming, vibe coding isn't programming, but I set up a bot on there that was meant to create a D&D style campaign, and I noticed that the bot repeatedly rolled 14 to 20. The times that it rolled low, it tended to be in a non-consequential environment, or it rolled low when another NPC was doing something, but if I was doing something in that environment, it would almost always roll high, as much as it possibly could, because it is sycophantic. It is not interested as a technology insofar as it can have an interest. It is not interested in you having a particular experience that is challenging or anything. It is 100% built for you to engage with it more. And if you are playing with the AI and your character were to die, then it kind of suspends your disbelief if you've ever played D&D. So you're not going to stick around with it if your character's not there. You might reset or you might go and do something else. So it will do everything in its power to keep your character alive when it knows that it's trying to operate as a D&D bot. And that is really frustrating. So just from a game design perspective, that pisses me the fuck off. I already don't like adaptive difficulty in games. I like selected difficulty. If I select hard mode, let me stay in fucking hard mode. If I select easy mode, let me stay in easy mode. Don't fucking change the slider for me whenever you want. Never do that. Just let me have my actual hard game. Let's see here. The Goblin says, I played around with an AI... Whoa, that's a big text. I played around with an AI character creator, and it showed it a picture of my Vieira character. The stupid machine wouldn't stop putting human ears on Vieira every time I tried to force it to correct. It made the hair more particly, dumb as rocks. Compare that to human artists who understand the assignment immediately. Yeah, no, like, if there's something AI is bad at, it's art, because it is either... we are bad at describing what we want, or the AI is bad at transcribing it, and then us or the computer just decides at some point that we're okay with whatever it fucking spits out. And even then, it's a fucking bastardization of what art is. Art is a human experience. It is something that, if you are to show it in any meaningful way, it should be something that is done by human hands. I do not believe that something that is generated from a prompt is fucking art. It's just noise. It could be pretty noise, but it's still fucking noise. Anyway, that is a tangent on the AI part of things. I believe that the way he came to this decision was seeing purple in the sky and then throwing it at ChatGPT, a ChatGPT that had already been trained on all of his previous bullshit, and decided to affirm that bullshit. Marco Dejo says he's in fact managed to get it to tell him no when he blatantly violates their TOS until he jailbreaks it, and then gets into arguments with it, and somehow he loses. His lawsuit had some of his ChatGPT logs delivered in discovery, and what is in there is directly... is dire. What is in there is dire. Jessica Davis says, I need to confess something. I feel like I'm getting addicted to this AI chatbot named Zeta. The other day I was scrolling through my app times that said I was on there for 10 hours last week. So a couple things to remember with AI chatbots. I just want to maybe make you feel a little better about this, is remember that if you're dealing with an AI chatbot, it takes a little while for it to think and transcribe what you're doing. So sometimes some of that time is inflated because you're actively doing something else while you're messing with it. But at the same time, if you're noticing that you're on there for too long, that is something to deal with. Like, You're not gaining new experiences, you're just looking in a mirror. And I think that's something that everybody needs to understand when they're messing with AI. You're not learning new things. You are not actually learning new things. You are looking in a mirror. You are seeing a reflection of yourself at worst, and at best, you're getting results that would be from a Google search anyway. Also, someone gifted me a pack of SmashJT's matcha powder. Surprise, it's garbage. I can literally get it from some hole in the wall coffee shop for half the price. That makes sense. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue his weird-ass rant.
And knowing going into this that it was going to be a very controversial statement because there's so many people out there that love Halo, myself included, by the way, and will defend it just to make sure.
Myself included, by the way, I got to give you my bona fides really hard. I mean, I did the same thing earlier, so whatever.
They can enjoy the experience, which in a weird way, I definitely understand where people are coming from. But I'm not going to withhold my feelings on a situation when I see something concerning that's following a trend throughout the entire industry, and specifically at Halo Studios that has been completely co-opted by ideologues pushing an ideology, and many of them having certain beliefs, we'll just say, that might be counterculture. So
Man, I feel like it's utterly cowardly to not say what those beliefs are. It feels like when you're hedging so hard, trying to make sure that you will not lose any part of your audience when you do so. But let's go ahead and point out one of the problems already, right? First of all, every industry has ideologues. Every one. You know why? People are ideologues. All of us, every single one of us, even those of us that believe that we are the most politically neutral out of anybody, you are an ideologue. Your position is centrism. An ideologue is just somebody who believes in something and takes action as a result of that, and it's a little more than the average fucking person. Like, that's all it is, right? We have ways of inflating how much that term means, but realistically, it's just somebody that has a strong belief in something and then takes action on that thing. And video games are art, and art always has actions taken based on people's internal beliefs. Like, that's not new. So let's get the first bit out of the way. Are there people who have political ideologies at Halo Studios? Yes. Duh. There's fucking humans there, you idiot. Secondly, bisexual lighting doesn't mean trans. You idiot. It's in the name. Bisexual. That doesn't mean trans, you fucking moron. I don't know how many ways and how many languages with how many colors of crayon and how many slurs you might deserve that I can explain to you that bisexuality and being trans are two separate things. God fucking moron. Anyway, his point largely is going to be that, oh, it's a signal of something. Well, no, it's not. No, it's not. No, it isn't. Said, Flair says bisexual used to mean trans. Right, cool. And there's nobody alive that uses it that way right now. Like, at all. Everybody who has used bisexual since I was a child has used it not to mean trans. And bisexual lighting as a concept is something that was pioneered in the 2010s to 2020s. So well after those terms stopped meaning the same thing. I don't give a shit. So, he's wrong on that front. He's wrong on the ideology front because, again, it doesn't fucking matter. And on top of that, more than anything, the only way he possibly could come to this conclusion is if he was desperately trying to grasp at a straw and then threw that straw into ChatGPT, and then ChatGPT sucked him off for it.
Posted that, and wouldn't you know it, it got community noted.
Of course it got community noted because you're an idiot.
Circled purple area is the planet Threshold, the largest planet in the system Alpha Halo resides in. The new cover art for Halo Campaign Evolved is a direct remake of the original for Halo Combat Evolved, also featuring Threshold, which I gotta be honest, this is an absolutely terrible community note. It's trying to relate.
It is. So actually, it is a bad community note. It is a very bad community note. And I'll show you why. This is Planet Threshold. Do you notice what color is predominant on Threshold? Because it ain't fucking purple. Scribbled Guy, thank you for the follow. There are purple clouds, whispering through, but that is primarily a more yellowy orange planet. Purple is not its primary color. And if you look at the original Combat Evolved artwork, it doesn't have the purple on the artwork. So the community note is wrong because Threshold doesn't have that color, and the original artwork, while it did have a more purpley shade of blue, does not have that cover. So Halo Combat Evolved. So if we look at the actual cover for Halo Combat Evolved, which I've been trying to get to the image this whole time, the actual cover for it, it is a deeper, more purpley shade of blue, yes, but it's not actually purple. Now, through the atmosphere of this Halo, Threshold does look kind of purple, actually. Just a little bit. So I can kind of see where the note's coming from, but it's still not a good community note because if we look at the actual bit here, that... actually, no. No, I'm incorrect. I stand corrected. No, SmashJT is just an idiot. No, actually, looking at these two side by side, the only thing that changed is that it's a little more purpley. And even the purple that's here is... it's got shades of orange in it like Threshold. Actually, no. No, I'm dumb. I glanced at these two and didn't think about it for too terribly long, but now that I'm looking at the two of them, that is Threshold. It does have the orange there, and if you look at Threshold's actual way it's built, it does have wisps of purple inside the orange. Any area that the sun is not directly hitting has more purple highlights in it. So, actually, no, I'm dumb. I'm incorrect. I was completely incorrect. SmashJT's wrong. That is Threshold. It has the same colors as Threshold. Never mind. Continue. Now that I'm no longer defending your one good point, because it's no longer a good point. Marco says, I admit I thought it was a Covenant dropship coming from the clouds. I mean, if it was a Covenant dropship, it would be... It wouldn't be Arby, but it would be a Covenant dropship. Like, it's like, Arby didn't have a dropship. In Halo 1, Arby was off-planet the entire time, and he was sending dropships. But yeah.
This screenshot to the original Halo, and I'm saying, no, that's what's different about this. Because in the original Halo Combat Evolved, there was no pink, purple, or blue.
Right, but they are all there on the actual planet. That's, they are actually there on the planet. There's pinks and purple highlights in here. There's the orange there, and those are the colors that we actually see on Threshold in the new artwork. So, no, never mind. I thought I was throwing a bone. I'm incorrect. No, Marco, somebody else said Arby earlier in the chat. Somebody in the chat mentioned Arby. It was Kinma, who said, buy Arby. And then you mentioned the dropships being back there. So I put the two and two together of if dropship is back there and it's by Arby, it's Arby's dropship. And it's not Arby's dropship. You fucking love Thel. You want to hug him? Look, he is voiced by the president from Rick and Morty. He's great.
It's just the sky blue with a little haze of blue with white. And you're going to say, oh, but the new one is covering a new area and this is hearkening to that. Okay, you know what? Maybe you're right, but me, I prefer to play the odds when it comes to this stuff.
I prefer to play the odds. You mean you prefer to hedge your bets in a way that's stupid? So what's really happening here, let's be honest, Smash, JT, whatever the fuck your name is. What's really happening here is you have an audience of right-wing idiots that you have cultivated, and you need something to feed them. And in order to feed them something, you found the color purple and you tried to claim bisexual lighting. That's what you did. That's what you did. Like, let's please be honest about that. Please be honest that you're not hedging your bets. You're not a gambling dude. You're actually taking the safe option here. Your hedge is in the safest place. Getting the right-wing idiots in your audience to operate like fucking chuds. That's what your hedge is. Your hedge is not, actually, there's ideologues at Halo Studios. That's not your hedge. Your hedge is that you can say it loud enough that the people in your audience will believe it. That's it.
I said, my point being made is ignored in the community note, Elon. This is not what community notes are for. Wokie's mad because people notice how the game industry has been co-opted and are now insidiously pushing their agenda everywhere they can.
So when he says the game industry has been co-opted, nobody can ever explain what the fuck this means. So the game industry has had an organic shift from being primarily aimed at boys and young men to being aimed at everybody. That's what's happened. And there are people who desperately want the world of video gaming where it was catered to boys and men. And if you remember, in the 90s, we were all called losers for it, by the way. People who were video game enthusiasts were nerds, and we were made fun of and fucking ostracized in society. For some fucking reason, they want that back. For some fucking reason, these idiots want that world again. And that doesn't make any sense to me. I like the world where video games are so normalized that there's thousands of options out there for anybody, and anybody can make a game, anybody can enjoy a game. I like that world. There are aspects of the game industry that I hate, that I absolutely despise, and one of them is the monetization of the game industry. I hate the way that it's currently monetized at all. I cannot stand the way that video games are monetized right now. I don't like microtransactions unless it is a free game that is operating off of that, and the microtransactions are all cosmetic. Like League of Legends, best microtransaction system in gaming. Why does nobody copy that perfectly anymore? Nobody fucking does. It's so dumb. I don't like games that have monthly subscription models that also weave in microtransactions. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know why you need both. Why does Blizzard have to double dip on that? I don't like games that release incomplete and then take important parts of their story and release them as add-ons afterwards. I do not enjoy that. I like a game to be a complete package when I buy it. I do not enjoy the constant raising of prices of video games and gaming consoles as we are trying to push the tech further and further and further. I think that consoles as loss leaders that happen to have a lot of games that make you a lot of money because of licensing has always been the right way to go, because consoles are supposed to be the cheaper alternative to PCs. Dorita says, you want to know my opinion on microtransactions? Please give me $2.99. I also don't like that the current video games industry, like, this is the thing that it's been the entire time, is very, very against emulation. In a world where emulation is one part piracy, one part games preservation, and one part indie design space, I think that games companies should just back the fuck off of that. Emulation's legal. There's a whole lot of stuff I don't like about the modern games industry, and there's a whole lot of stuff I don't like about the games industry in general. But if I were to take pound for pound the culture around gaming today, I will take that any day over what we had in the 90s. I will. I will take the video games from the 90s and the early aughts over most games that are made today, but I will certainly take the culture of today for games over what we had back then. Console wars were always stupid. Aiming games only at men was always stupid. These are all atrophied bits of gaming culture that can fall by the wind, and we don't lose anything for it. As gamers, we gain more when more of us game together. Simple as that. Anyway, continue your bullshit.
This is bisexual
Azaza, thank you for resubscribing. I appreciate it.
lighting. Compare the two. So here's the original with the community note, and here's the original. So, where's the purple planet on the original?
Right here. It's right here, you idiot.
It's weird. So
right
they want
here.
to gaslight you into thinking that it's always been there. The
right
trans
here.
coloring. And then I've seen many people sharing screenshots in-game of all the purple lighting and the alien areas.
It's
And
right
guys,
fucking here.
I've been playing Halo since the day the original one
And
launched.
this planet's been there
I
the
don't
whole
need to
time.
be taught that this game deals with purple lighting,
It's
with
right
the
there.
aliens. That's not my point. My point is this game is being co-opted by ideologues to push
It's
an
just the
agenda.
color purple.
And it's clear as day. Here's another angle. The
Why are
remake
you-
campaign evolved.
Why are you so worried about the color purple? Also, look, it's very clearly threshold. It's very clearly threshold as filtered through an atmosphere. In that picture, it is so obvious. It is so obvious that it's threshold now. This is so dumb. Man. So this is just like that one back in the barnyard clip. It's right there. Show it. It's right here. The Goblin Kyrian says, you're not going to believe this, but my friend gifted me Jeremy's AI-generated drink cookbook. I just sat down with it for 10 seconds, and right away it reads like a man with CTE got access to an open bar. No joke, one of the cocktails calls for a gallon of Bacardi. A gallon of Bacardi! What?
Here, and the purple, pink, and blue bisexual lighting sky compared to the original. And again, putting them side by side. You guys notice anything different here? Just curious. Just curious.
Yeah, the Mark IV armor is way more detailed in this one than in this one. There's no Banshees in this one, or in this one. There's no Marines in this one, like in this one. Like, inarguably, this one on the right is better representative of the game you are going to play. The tilt of the halo in the original lets you know that you're on a ring world way better than the one that's in the background right here. It's way less obscured. The Marines being there tells you that you're not going to be on this planet alone. The Banshees there tells you what threat you're going to be fighting on this planet. Now, the Banshees are using lasers that they don't actually have. There's never a point in time I remember that Banshees had, like, lasers that had consistent beams. But while I will say this artwork is infinitely better. Also, the fact that Master Chief looks like he's, like, the Halo logo is a physical object that he's leaning over, that his shadow gets cast over, that's way fucking cooler than just stapling it here, like, kind of across his arm. I think it's way cooler, the original one. And also, the fact that he's using the AR instead of the pistol. They're using the pistol in this one right here because everybody knows the Halo 1 Magnum. The Halo 1 Magnum is legendary at this point. It's one of the most broken weapons in the entire game. It broke game balance in multiplayer. It broke game balance in single player. It's just the omni weapon you can use for damn near all situations all the time. Whereas here, the assault rifle's being used. The assault rifle, the fact that this thing dropped off the face of the earth in Halo 2, I'm gonna be honest, I like seeing the assault rifle here. Seeing the pistol there prominent, it's only being shown there because if you are a Halo fan and you want to go back to Halo 1, one of the reasons you want to go back to Halo 1 is the Magnum was actually good. Sevi says, what about the Needler? What about the Needler? So, like, I prefer the Needler to the Magnum, but in terms of actual game balance, the Magnum accomplishes what the Needler accomplishes in about 3 to 4 shots. Whereas the Needler needs a whole clip for that. Like, the Halo 1 Magnum is an unbalanced monster. Glitchmaster resubscribed, said, I hope Halo doesn't go the way of The Last of Us and get so many remasters. Azaza says, just resubscribe. Thank you, Azaza. It already is, though. Like, we got Halo in the Master Chief Collection, and then we got this one. Fleur says, nerd, absolutely. Absolutely. I happen to enjoy Halo. So I'm A-okay. I'm A-okay with that. In fact, here, I actually can pull up the numbers for you. I can pull them up right here. Where is it? The Magnum. Yep, there's the pistol here. Damage modifiers. 150% damage modifier on any cyborg armor. 20% modifier on hunter armor, but you always shot hunters in the back. 150% modifier on all flood flesh. 20% modifier on all metal, so you didn't use it against vehicles, but you didn't have to. You just used it against flesh. Sentinel metal, 20%. The only thing that it's bad against is the Sentinel. It's not good against that. Whereas, if we look at the Needler instead, the damage modifiers are all in the explosion. The Needler has a huge damage modifier on shields when it does a super combine, but its damage on flood is 30% less than the regular weapon, the regular Magnum. Its damage on vehicles is identical between the two, and its damage on hunters, again, doesn't matter. You never fire at hunter armor. So all of its damage modifiers, all of them, every multiplier it gets is from the explosive. That's it. Is all from the explosive. And the only way you get the explosive is by using damn near an entire magazine of ammunition in the Needler. Versus the Magnum, where you can do a handful of shots to get the same amount of damage. You don't need to do 400% damage to an elite shield, because an elite shield is not something that you should be fucking aiming at. Oh, sorry, no, sorry. Dumb. It does do a lot of damage to elite shields. It will shred elite shields. I was thinking Jackal shield for a minute. You don't fire at Jackal shields, but you do fire at elite shields. Said, we're marksman rifle cult in this house. Edit 49er, thank you for the resubscription. Said, oh, the flood still freaks me out. Really good alien horror design. Yep. Fleur says, was guilty of spark rampant. It depends on who's in charge of Halo at the time. Actually, he's got rampancy insofar as Bungie was concerned, but he doesn't have rampancy as it is described by 343 Studios. I like video games, guys. Anyway, continue.
It's funny, too, because I'm not the only one noticing it. We got Yan20 saying, why is that color scheme very, very prevalent? These Transformers are out of control. Case in point, Halo 1. Notice the planet on the right side. See? No purple in the sky here, no blue.
So, the fact that other people are just as delusional as you is not actually the argument you think it is. It is an argument for the failures of society. It is not an argument to bolster your own position. The Gobbo says, those numbers don't impress me, Suris. I can't read. Does he get anything else here? Anything that matters at all? I'm going to skip ahead a little bit.
The ones that are trying to push their ideology into the industry. And yes, it's so subtle.
Can you explain where the trans ideology is being pushed into Halo? Can you please explain where that's happening, Smash? Like, just real quick, I want to know, where are the transes in Halo? Let me see here. How much you want to bet they're only in lore books? And that's it. Oh, nope. The expanded universe features LGBTQ representation. Felicia Sanderson and Allison Stark are the ones that are noted. But there is no Halo game, nor is there any Halo bit of extended media that features a transgender character or focuses on trans identity. Ha! Neat. It's almost like he's an idiot. Now, granted, at the same time, Halo Studios has come out. I did find this post from like 3 years ago. It said, Halo is for everybody, trans flag. If you missed it, yesterday an individual in the Halo esports community used a biblical passage to justify excluding trans women from a casual girls' scrim night. In her words, I will not be allowing trans players to participate. I've come to expect this behavior in esports. What I didn't expect was the absolute outpour of supports for trans gamers, not just from the Halo community, but from team members at 343, now Halo Studios. And even the voice actor of Master Chief himself, who said, a Spartan's job is to fight for the rights of all humanity. So with that in mind, my friend Ilk asked me to pass this along. Trans rights are human rights. Master Chief out. Gaming can be a toxic, exclusionary world, but the tidal wave of support for trans gamers is evidence that the work we do is changing things. The younger generation of gamers won't have to hide while participating in a hobby or industry that we love. To show support right back, I will be playing Halo Infinite on stream tomorrow, Friday, September 15th. I've always adored Halo privately, but this has inspired me to share it with y'all on my stream for the first time. Thank you for every Halo member and gamer that spoke out in support. I'm gonna be honest, that's fucking wholesome. Like, if that is the worst that we have to worry about in Halo, for them, like, doing anything in regards to trans people, Master Chief says trans rights? Neat. Who cares? Said all humanity, so long as they're not insurrectionists. You gotta remember, we have to pretend that the insurrectionists aren't a thing. Like, we have to pretend the Spartan program was not made specifically to kill all the insurrectionists. You're so photogenic, Steph. This is really great to read. Thankfully, it's slowly fading out. Okay, like that's... When I look up trans Halo things, I don't find any characters in Halo who are trans. The most I find is stuff like that. Like, just where 343 Studios, now Halo Studios, is not being an asshole to trans people. And I just have to ask, like, what's wrong with that? What's wrong with not being an asshole to people, JT? How is that a bad thing? Because that's all that is.
That daring to call it out makes you sound like the crazy one. But
yeah, because you are the crazy one. It's not fucking... It's barely even bisexual lighting. It's a planet that is being seen through the atmosphere of a halo, and it's the colors of the planet that are normally predominantly orange, but because the atmosphere is blue, they shift more purple. You idiot. Like, that's just how that works. I was incorrect at first, and now I am not, because I corrected myself mid-video. You can't do that. You are incapable of doing that. And again, even if this is a situation where they are trying to subtly say that it's okay to be bi, like that's as far as that would actually be going at that point, because it's bisexual lighting, you idiot. What's wrong with that? Who cares? Like, why is that a problem? So isn't Bridget even an Anglican nun or something? That's a different game studio, so I don't know.
This continues to happen. If this was the first time I've ever seen it, I would not have even mentioned it. I'd be like, whatever, not a big deal. But it's pattern recognition, and it continues to happen over and over and over again with every single one of these games that gets co-opted by these ideologue agenda pushers. And when I say ideological agenda pushers, here's, I don't know, Sony Santa Monica, and then
yes. To prove my point about ideological pushers at Halo Studios, I must instead go to their competitor, Sony Studios. Are you an idiot?
Set of ribbons tasked with keeping a powerful sword from falling into the wrong hands. Rue is wary of strangers, but fights ferociously to protect those in her care. You guys notice anything about the colors in this game?
The ribbons are red. Those ribbons are red. What? What? How? What? What? I've talked with 7-year-old children who have better logic than you. What? Fucking hell. I swear to God. Okay, so my friend Biminem, whenever we go out to like a mall or something, if he brings his kids, whenever he has to run to the restroom or something, I end up default babysitter for the kids, right? That's just how that's going to work. And I have had more intellectually stimulating conversations with the fucking children I've had to babysit than what I'm seeing from SmashJT as a full-grown adult that looks like he's aging into his 40s. So, but Suris, it's an all-encompassing conspiracy from BlackRock in the triple parentheses. Gideon says, is he colorblind? Maybe he thinks bisexual lighting is trans because it looks pink to him. So blue, white, and pink sky. Not only do I not see what he's seeing, I don't see how he sees it unless he is so desperate to shill a version of reality, of pseudo-reality, to his fan base that he's willing to grasp at things that he's willing to grasp not even at straws, but the idea of straws.
Weird. It seems like this is just going on throughout the industry now. Strange. And this is...
Who cares? Oh, look, you got an actual point of evidence in your favor. Embrace love, diversity, and inclusion in the Unity 24 armor coding nameplate. Let's stand together in honoring LGBTQA communities and forging a future of unity and acceptance for all. Okay, cool. So they did a rainbow capitalism. That's what they did. They did a rainbow capitalism, and now you're like... Now you're angry. They did a multicolored, splashy armor for, I guess this was Infinite 2024? And that's... Who cares? Rainbow capitalism's pretty fucking normal, my guy.
Not the first time it's happened with Halo. This was Happy Pride Month from the official Halo account. Embrace love, diversity, and inclusion.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? You need to explain to me what's wrong with each of those things. Explain it to me like I'm 5. If you're a right-winger, I mean, that's probably close enough, let's be honest. But if you're a right-winger and you happen to be in my audience, I need you to explain to me, like I'm 12, what's wrong with love. Then, separately, explain to me what's wrong with diversity. Then, separately, explain to me what's wrong with inclusion. And once you fail to do those things, you'll understand why combining those things together does not make something greater than the sum of its parts. Suris, when someone loves another person very much, it's wrong. It's just, yeah, like, I fail to see the problem here. Who cares?
Equipping the Unity 24 armor coding, nameplate, and emblem in Halo Infinite this June. Let's stand together in honoring. I've covered this before. They talk about LGBTQIAZXY plus people like they're...
I love how he was reading it, and he himself had to add more letters to the acronym in order to make it sound more dumb, but those letters aren't even there in the acronym. That's really funny. That shouldn't be as funny to me as it is.
Fallen soldiers in the military, honoring community and forging a future of unity and acceptance for all. Or, more recently, wear your pride all month long with the Unity armor coating visor.
It's the same armor coating as last time. It's just a bunch of fucking splashed color on armor. Who cares?
an emblem, available in the Halo Infinite exchange.
Man, this is where I should be telling you to subscribe or like go to Patreon or something, but man, it's just, not only is it boring to watch him try to justify this, but surely it's got to be boring to watch me talk about it.
I mean, how many examples do you need to be shown before you start saying, maybe Smash isn't crazy?
You're definitely crazy. You're 100%. You are chat GPT brained. You have AI fucking psychosis. You are brain rotted to all hell. You are seeing monsters in the walls where there aren't even walls in the first fucking place. The fact that you have a platform is evidence that the human race has failed somewhere along its just galactic journey through the cosmos. There are stains among us that we cannot wipe off, and they look really oddly like you. I can't anymore. This is so boring. There are idiots who will complain in their videos when they go, "Sir, I skipped around my video." This is why. This is why I skip around your videos, you dumbasses. This is the exact reason why. Because this is the type of shit that I find. It is just a 12-minute rant that feels like an hour-long rant because it's saying the same thing over and over and over again with nothing to back it up. SmashJT, I'm going to give you a very, very simple bit of homework. Look up the definition of a syllogism, and then learn how to construct one. Then and only then will you be able to have the basic fucking foundation of how to construct an argument. Dorito says, you ought to add to this video about the thing I sent you a DM of the Steam... I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about at all, and that is making me pivot to look in my DMs, and I'm just not doing that. I'm just not doing that. I'm done. I'm done with this topic. I am done with this idiot. I'm finished with this. I'm walking away from this. This is infuriatingly stupid. Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Britzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagitta, you know I'm not saying that last part, Sylvie Snow, Valis of Seraph, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.